Hi, I'm Michael Russnow, and I'm very concerned and a little bit angry at all of the people that think the Democrats have screwed up this country. Yes, inflation is very, very high, at about 8.2% and getting lower every month. But it's not an American situation. You cannot blame President Biden for something that is affecting the entire world. The UK is more than 10%, and they've had a conservative government for years. So is Sweden and Germany. My goodness, in the Netherlands, it's over 14%, 9% in Spain. And of course, we cannot forget that the inflation problem, which is international, was caused by the COVID tragedy, and the supply chain problem, and now the Ukraine war. This is what's causing inflation, which in this country has started to go down. It is not a situation that the Democrats have caused, and the Republicans have no plan, in any event, to cure it. Now let's look at what President Biden did since he took office. There was a vaccine, thankfully, in spite of Trump's indifference to the situation, because the scientists in America have been poised to create such a vaccine for years. And yes, it was there. When Biden took office, there was no distribution plan to get the vaccination into your arms. His administration solved it. Indeed, Trump had been poo-pooing the whole situation, wearing masks, making fun of Biden campaigning initially from the basement, which was the proper thing to do. He was saying the thing would be over by Easter in 2020. Indeed, he was holding huge rallies where people got sick, some of them died. And of course, Trump himself got a bad case of COVID toward the end of his term. He was in the hospital. Biden, it took 2.5 years for him to get a slight case of COVID because he had taken the vaccinations and had been careful. And after all of the vaccinations that have come out, our caseloads have dropped considerably. So let's see what Biden has accomplished with the barest congressional majority. He got the American Rescue Plan passed with nary a Republican vote. Nobody voted for it in the Republican Party. All those checks that went out to you throughout the year came because of the Democrats. And don't forget the infrastructure bill, a bill that eluded many presidents of both parties for years. Remember Trump's infrastructure week all the time? Nothing. Biden, with his great skill, he'd been in the Senate for 36 years, got such a bill passed with bipartisan support. And that's going to affect roads, railroads, airports, our internet situation. All because of Biden and the Democrats. And again, without Republican support, he got the Inflation Reduction Act passed. And what will that do? It's going to lower prescription costs. It's going to cap insulin prices. It's going to combat the climate problem that we've been having. That's what Biden has done. He got slight gun reform. He wanted more, but the Republicans wouldn't go for it. And sadly, two people from his own party, Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin, refused. Even though they supported voter reform and gun control legislation, they just didn't want to do anything with a filibuster. Or at least the filibuster for those bills, and they just stubbornly refused to do it. That's why Biden needs more senators, so that he can do more things for you, so that he can get voter reform passed, as well as stronger gun control, so that he can codify Roe versus Wade, that the right-wing Supreme Court, after 50 years of women having the right to choose, took away from you. The Republicans are not nearly on board to do anything to support the women in that regard. Keep the House in Democratic hands. Do you want Kevin McCarthy, who voted against everything, who voted against certifying Biden? Do you want him in charge of the House of Representatives? Look at the candidates for the Senate on the Republican side. Pennsylvania and Ohio and Wisconsin are great examples. Mehmet Oz and Vance in Ohio are all for abortion restrictions. Ron Johnson in Wisconsin tried to get fake electors enacted to do away with Joe Biden's victory. Marco Rubio of Florida didn't even show up to vote for the Relief Act that would have helped his home state of Florida combat the problems caused by that terrible Hurricane Ian. Give Joe Biden a chance to show what he can do. Look what he has accomplished with the barest congressional majority. Let's see what he can do with more strength in Congress. If he doesn't accomplish it, then you can go after him. But look what he's accomplished with what you gave him in 2020. In 2022, you can make his job a lot easier. I'm Michael Russnow. Thanks for watching. If you've got anything to say, good or bad, write me at the Gmail address following this telecast. Thanks.